Greetings from Tokyo. It's Stu in Tokyo, or the Tokyo Craftsman. So I got a little project here I'm doing. This is kind of a thing, just a little workshop project that I need to do for some of my tools here. These are the tracks for my track saw, for my Festool track saw. And I use them mainly in my workshop to break down sheet goods, and they store in a little rack that goes above my table saw where they're easily accessible and stored safely out of harm's way. But there are occasions where I take them to job sites that I'm doing a renovation on somebody's house, for example. And like for breaking down sheet goods or cutting what's it called, the kitchen panels, which is like a fireproof, waterproof, bomb-proof paneling that goes up in kitchens instead of tiles. It's quite common here in Japan. And that stuff's like really, really hard. It's kind of a fiberglass, aluminum, ceramic composite about a 1/4 inch thick. And you need to cut it accurately, and this is the perfect tool for the job. But taking these things on a job site is not the greatest thing because they are a bit fragile. This big one here, if I buy it here in Japan, it's over $500 US. I didn't buy this one in Japan. I actually was able to get it shipped from the States, and it still cost me about $300, so it's not something to mess with. These other two I've had for quite a long time, and I got them here locally, and they were still expensive, but they weren't $500. So, carrying them around now, I have the cardboard box that this one came in, and it works, but it's really not great. And the box is falling apart. So I want to make a box to protect them when I'm traveling, so I can just put them in the back of my truck and not worry about them. And also, any of you guys that have the trucks know this rubber edge that attaches on here. You put it on and then you cut it with the saw, so it's exactly the edge goes exactly where you're cutting. Well, these can get damaged. Like if they get bumped or banged, it can move, and then your accuracy's off. And you don't want that because that's the whole point of the system. So I'm going to make a box, and it's just going to be a basic box. These three are going to go into. They're going to go in kind of like one like that, one like that, and one, I don't know, like that or something like that. And then they have a hole in the end here, in each end. So what I'm going to do is, on that end, obviously, I can put line all three holes up and put a bolt through there. But then here, of course, there's not a hole. So what I'm going to end up doing, I mean, it's probably some people scream at me for doing it, but I'm going to put another hole here that'll go through, this one has a hole, and it'll go through the medium one and the long one, and another hole here. And then I'll probably put 3 bolts. I don't think I need a 4th one on that end. I think it'll be held more than securely enough. And what that'll do is the bolts will come through the holes, and then these will go down, and then I'll put a lid on with 3 like knobs or wing nuts or whatever I have laying around to hold them in place. That way, inside the box, they can't shift around. I looked at making a box at the edge of it open instead of the top, and these things would go down like this. And that'd be great as long as the box was carried like this, but if the box went like this, or someone carried it like this, again, the rubber edges would possibly get damaged. So, I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm using some fairly thin plywood. I think it's 9mm, which I believe is 3/8. I can't remember. It's just some construction grade plywood. It's not going to be beautiful, but it'll be functional. And I'm going to take you along for the ride, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is the longest one, so it's going to dictate the size of the box. So it is 1,900 or 190 centimeters long, which makes sense. And it's just over 18, just under 18.3 millimeters wide, 18.3 centimeters wide. So I'm going to make the inside of the box 20, and obviously make the inside of the box, I guess, 2,000, because I'll go, or no, 1920, I'll go 10 millimeters on that side, 10 millimeters on that side. Of course, that gives me a bit of a problem because the wood here is 1,820 millimeters long. This is 1,900. This is just barely long enough to cut the sheets of plywood down. So I'm going to have to kind of make a joint somewhere, and I'll figure that out as I go along. But shouldn't be a problem. Okay, I got this long piece of plywood here. It is only 182 centimeters long, and it needs to be 2,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another piece on the end here. But to do that, I got to make some kind of a joint, and I want to keep this case as flat as possible. I could put another piece on the back side, but I think I just spend a little extra time and make it nice. So I did some test cuts here on a couple of scraps, and basically that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of taking the pieces and putting them together like that. I would like to do just a small, I think even like that, just an inch overlap would be fine. The problem is, if I push this all the way till it hits the stairs over there, that's as far as it gets. So I'm going to end up doing about a 3-inch wide lap. It won't really matter in the long run. So, got a whole pile of cuts to make here. Get my hearing protection, there it is, and cut away. Realize this won't work because I got to push the board that way to get these laps, and yeah. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to cut this piece shorter and then just use a longer piece to make the lap. That's all. Now I gotta figure this out. I'll be right back. Okay, I got this set up again. I got my 2 marks here. I'm gonna do about a 4 centimeter wide lap joint, let's call it. And I got this already set up, so I'm going to do the 4 centimeter wide lap joint, and then I'll cut this end piece off, and then I'll do the short pieces. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, making the boards longer using a kind of a lap joint. I'm using the rail of my table saw as my flat surface to line everything up with. Make sure I get lots of glue on there. I'm sure it's going to be messy. Paper towel out. I'm just going to stick these two together and rub them a bit, and then setting this on the rail to make it straight. Couple of clamps on. Clean up the glue. That should make a, I think, decent enough joint to work as the side of my little box. I'm going to put this aside and let it dry. Okay, I've got the pieces together here. I'm going to put some glue on here and do the lap joint and put some clamps on there, and that should be that, and then I'll cut them to length. Okay, the glue's dried. Time to get these apart and finish making this box. Okay, I got all my pieces cut. I just test fit everything to make sure that the pieces actually fit in the box. So now I'm going to glue it all together and bang it up with the air stapler. Okay, there's the basic box. And proof of concept. That fits in there. So now I got to let this dry and wipe off all the excess glue, and then I'll move on to making the lid. I think I'm going to make some little pieces that I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, actually, to be honest. I'm going to make the lid and then go from there. Now let's see if I can get the lid on. Looks like I might have to put another nut here just to keep this end down. Well, the camera stopped recording. I didn't notice. Batteries again. So I got the knobs on. These bolts are a little long, so I'm going to cut them off. So, I guess I should put a handle on this thing. It's actually fairly heavy, but should be pretty bomb-proof. I don't think that when I go on the road, I don't think that I'm going to damage these things. I hope. So, yeah, I'm going to just give it a quick coat of paint. Call it done. Okay, just painted this. Put 2 coats of paint on it, and I'm going to, just for fun, I'm going to put a green stripe on here, you know, the old Festool green kind of color. And I'm trying out this technique that I've seen people use online where you whatever the base color is, you put your tape down, rub it down, I use my roller, get it down tight, and then so you don't have those bleeding edges on it, you put another coat of paint, the base paint color on first, let that dry, then you paint on, in this case, the green paint, and when you strip the tape off, you should get a nice even line. That's what they say anyways. I'm going to give that a try. So I didn't film myself painting this because I think the only thing more boring than watching somebody paint something would be to watch the paint dry, and we're not going to do that. Okay, so I got my paint here. I had some green. It was a bit dark, so I had a little bit of white and a little bit of yellow to make it a little bit lighter color. And I got a new brush. I should do this off camera actually. Whenever I get a new brush, I always work it really good because these are not the most expensive brushes. Try to get any loose hairs out because inevitably some hairs will fall out. I guess they're called bristles. So I'm going to try this. Long time ago, when I was a kid, we were painting my grandpa's house, his new house. One of his friends was actually a professional painter, and he taught me a very good lesson about painting. I just thought I'd pass this along as I'm doing this. Whenever you're painting like this, you don't start with the, I just dipped the brush, so I got paint loaded up in the brush. You don't start here where the paint is, because you're going to just move paint that you already put down. You start where there isn't paint, and paint towards where there is paint. Well, the paint's dry. Let's see how this worked, if it worked. Quite curious. Ooh, that's a nice crisp line. Look at that. Wow, that really works. Oh no, I went over my line there. I'm going to have to fix that at some point. Wow, those are crisp lines. I'm super impressed. The only place that I made a mistake is here. See that? Where I painted over where the tape was. That's my mistake, so I'll have to just paint that over. But yeah, hey, that looks pretty cool. Okay, I'm done. Paint job's done. I got the handle on it. Let's put some so I put a pink circle on the ends just to make sure I know how this goes together, and a pink circle in the box so that I can figure out where these all go. That one goes like that. That one goes like that. And the little one goes on the end there. And then the lid goes on top. I'll make some paint in the holes here. I gotta push out. Yeah, there's some paint holes. And then I got 4 knobs here. Well, that's it. My it's not the lightest thing in the world, but that should really keep my things in there in good shape. I'll put a link in the description to the video of the guy who I saw make one of these similar like this on YouTube. He made a much shorter one because he didn't have the long. He only made one about that long because he didn't have the long rail like I do. But yeah, that's great. I can take that. I can throw that in the back of my truck and not worry about it. I mean, the box gets dinged up. I don't really care. And this should keep these in good shape, and I should be able to move along. So I'm quite pleased with that. So I hope this helps somebody out. If you're looking for a solution, if I could have bought a bag, because Festool makes a bag, but they don't make a bag for the 1900. They only make for the 1400. So it doesn't really do me any good. A bag would have been nice, because the only thing wrong with this that I can see is now that I've made it, when my tracks are in their usual position up here above the bench, I got to put this somewhere. I got to store it, so I got to find somewhere to keep it. So when I need to use it, I can use it. Other than that, I mean, a bag you could just roll it up and stuff in a corner, right? So it'd be nice. But this certainly, I think, will protect them better than a bag would. You know, I mean, even a padded bag is not going to keep those edges from being banged up. Because that's the biggest concern that I have with these, is that the rubber edge gets moved. And I found that in the last job where I made a cut and it wasn't on the lines because the rubber edge had been banged inside the cardboard box. So I could throw the cardboard box in the garbage now too. So anyways, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was kind of a fun little build to make while I'm in between doing things and doing a bunch of paperwork and invoicing and that kind of stuff. So I just thought I would bang this together. I'm quite pleased with the way the lap joint here worked. It seems to be holding fine. That's it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. And leave a comment, just even to say, hey Stu, how you doing? You know, it's always good to get the comments in there for the YouTube algorithm, as they say. So I'd really appreciate it. Anyways, this is Stu in Tokyo, the Tokyo Craftsman, signing off. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope everybody's staying safe, and I hope you're getting out to your workshop and making something. That's it. See you later. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.